Stuart in Canada wants to talk about Gaza. Go ahead, Stuart.
Hey, George. How you doing? First-time caller, long-time viewer. This is Stuart Andrews from Cinephobia Radio. I'm calling to ask you for your thoughts on the Freedom Flotilla, which is set to sail from an undisclosed location in Turkey to the shores of Gaza on the eastern side of the Mediterranean with 5,500 tons of humanitarian food aid. I'm not sure if you've been talking about it, but it's an action that, as you know, it's extremely hazardous. In 2010, 10 of the activists on the flotilla were actually raided by the IDF and shot dead. The likelihood of the aid actually arriving is one thing, but my concern also is for the well-being of the activists themselves. I know some of them. I have a fantastic interview with the FBI whistleblower Colleen Rowley on my website. I'm just going to plug it quickly, www.cinephobia-radio.com. Former U.S. Army Colonel Ann Wright is on board. Medea Benjamin from Code Pink is on board. These are massive figures in world activism, as you know. But the more eyeballs that we can get on this thing will obviously ensure the slim likelihood that the aid will arrive, the much-needed aid. But more important to me is the well-being of the activists themselves. So anything you can do as well to highlight this would be massively appreciated. The freedomflotilla.org is the website for your viewers to find out information.
Well, beautiful call. Stuart, I appreciate you making it. Not only am I aware of it, I spoke in Newcastle on Friday night with my good friend and the independent parliamentary candidate for Newcastle Central and West, Dr. Yvonne Ridley, who the very next morning, yesterday morning, set off for Turkey to join that very flotilla. She's one of those who has already successfully arrived in Gaza by sea on a previous Freedom Flotilla. And the names that you mentioned are indeed giants of the international world of activism. And they are very, very brave and resourceful people. Not only do I know about the Mavi Mamara, I was one of the organizers of it. And my chief of staff at the time, Kevin Ovenden, was on board the Mavi Mamara when the Israeli occupation force arrived on the deck by parachute. 10 people were murdered by the Israeli stormtroopers who came on board. My colleague, Kevin Ovenden, was taken to a prison in the desert. A great deal of fuss was made by Turkey because it was a Turkish ship and because the majority of those on board were Turkish. But nobody else did a damn thing about it. And so I ask everyone to pray for the safety of the people on that Freedom Flotilla. I ask them to pray for the safe arrival of the vitally needed tons, 5,500 tons of food on the flotilla. And I hope that now that social media is very much more developed than it was at the time of the Freedom Flotilla, the Mavi Mamara disaster and mass murder that took place, now that social media is very much more developed, with many hundreds of millions of people now on it that were not on it before, the eyeballs, as you put it, on it will help to save the lives of the brave people who've gone on it. If I were 10 years younger, I'd be on it myself. Thanks, Stuart, for a great, great call.